Yeah.
So you're going to be swinging hard on this. So most people have difficulty swinging hard and doing this thing. That's the best shot you've ever hit in my presence right there. Put it back. Oh, crap. Feels terrible, doesn't it?
Horrible.
Sorry. Life is hard, and then you die.
All right. Welcome back to another beautiful, stressful, frustrating, but the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life journey while I'm trying to go from scratch to scratch golf. And today is gonna be a really good one because as you guys seen, if you guys been watching these videos, my driver game has not been great. And today we are gonna be meeting with Mike in order to go through a lot of the things around the driver again and tips and tricks around your grip that might actually just solve all your problems. So without wasting time, let's get it.
Why no head cover on this one? Did you lose it?
I don't even get one.
You didn't get one?
No, they just gave it to me.
Every single one comes with a head cover on.
No, I actually never got one.
Really?
It's actually on the video when I bought it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Hey, whoever sold me that, come on, give me a head cover.
There is not one stealth driver or 3-wood in the world that does not come with a head cover on. She'll put a sock or something on it. So what happens, the good players see those marks, that's called a snowball. If you like the person, or an idiot mark if it's not. So you just rub your nose and you go on that, and that comes right off, and you don't have to look at that anymore. What you don't want is you don't want the irons banging into the top and making marks on it. So we're going to talk a little bit about your lag for this thing we did before. I'm going to give you a very ample fairway. So see the little flags here? Okay, so that's the right edge of the fairway, and the hillside is the left edge. Okay, so I want you to tee it up on this one right here, and I want you to hit a couple of drivers into this fairway. Self-deprecating humor is the best kind. You don't want to take yourself too seriously, but you want to take yourself seriously enough. I don't want you to be happy when you hit a bad one, but see, you can be mad or you can be sad. Now we're going to get started with the driver, okay? Cool. Before we start, one quick thing. What is the single biggest difference between the driver and every other club in the bag?
Stance? Or are you talking about the specific driver?
Well, no, just about the way you have to hit it.
I think is like when I'm hitting my irons, I'm more like this, and with the driver, is it more like that?
No, I'm afraid not. The swing is exactly the same.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Okay.
Wrong answer.
Wrong
okay,
answer.
next. Okay, I'll give you a hint. The ball's on a tee, isn't it?
You're hitting up.
Okay, so you're not hitting the ground.
Yes.
That's really important. If you hit the ground, it's not time to go.
Yeah.
Okay. On every other club, you take a practice swing and you don't hit the ground, it's not time to go.
Yeah.
So make sure your practice swing does not include any ground contact. What would you like to see in your practice swing? What would make the practice swing productive? Okay. So the fact you didn't hit the ground, that's one thing. That's a for sure.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would look for in the practice swing that you'd want to emulate in the full swing as well? There is something that's pretty important. The hint on this one is this is going to be the fastest club at speed of everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're going to be swinging hard on this. So most people have difficulty swinging hard and doing this thing. What is that thing? Staying in balance.
Balance.
So if you are finished with your swing and you can stay where you are and not fall over, that's a pretty big deal.
I think that's my main problem.
Well, I've watched a lot of your driver swings and I haven't seen one yet that has stayed in one place.
Yeah, it's hard.
Now by the same token, if it's going in a crazy place and you're laughing at it, that's a different thing. But see, that's why you should try to do it on your practice swing for sure.
Yeah.
So if you can take a practice swing that A, doesn't hit the ground, and B, stays somewhere where you can stay in that spot, you got a pretty good chance to go well. How do you like your chances of getting in this fairway?
In this fairway?
Yeah, so between the hillside and those flags on the right.
I'm going to tell you 50-50. Yeah.
Does it look wide or does it look narrow to you?
This looks massively wide.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now you have no chance.
Yeah.
Okay, now take a good practice swing that A, doesn't hit the ground, and B, stays in balance if you can do it. Not bad. Kept your balance pretty good. You want to find a place at the end where you're watching it from a spot and you're still in your finish. If you finish it and it whips it back down to keep your balance, technically you were still a little out of balance when you did. When you're able to do both those things, then you can start analyzing what the ball's doing based upon path and club face and things like that.
Yeah.
So if you hit the ball too high, you hit down on it too much. Okay, if it's kind of that funny one off the top of the club.
Yeah.
If it starts way too far right or too far left, you have a bad path. Yeah. And if the ball curves the wrong way in the air, then you have a bad club face. So what did you see in that one?
Kind of started left and then went all the way to the right.
Okay, so your path wasn't bad, but the club face must have been real open, and the lack of solidarity contact means you descended a little too much on it.
Okay.
Now, we started the day by you telling me that you have to hit up on the driver. That's correct. But then you told me that on the full shots, you're going to get ahead to hit down, and on these to hit up, you're going to stay back and hit up. Okay, come on over on this side so you can see a little better from here. If you recall, we had a little driver's session where I showed you pictures of Colin Morikawa and John Rahm, and I showed you the commonalities that they all had so that you could make the same swing with the driver that hits down on an iron and you would hit up on the driver. What we said was necessary to do that were the following. Number one, you have to have your chin 10 full inches behind the ball. The implication there is we're not going to play this when a ball's with inside the left heel. It's going to be more in the middle of your foot. Number two, you have to have your chin between your feet. Very popular to lean back to try to stay back. You have to be in the middle of your feet so you can athletically turn. Number three, the handle of the club has to point at your belt buckle. For every other club, the shaft would be vertical when you did that, but for this, the ball's so far forward that the handle's actually slightly behind the club head. It's a funny look. And then number four, as you look at the club head now, because my handle's back here, the club face is pointing left. So I have to put it up on its edge to make it look straight back. If you look at that, you'll take it in the wrong spot. All clubs go down and out until they reach bottom, and then they come up and in.
Yeah.
So we want to catch it on the way up, that's good, but we don't want to catch it on the way in. If you return to this exact same place, you'd hit up on it, but you would start at left, it would be on the way in. The way you prevent that from happening when the ball's as far forward is you start from here, and when you hit it, you're there instead. Remember, every other club with your hands ahead, you'd hit down, but we're playing this beyond the bottom of the arc, so you're going to be here and you're still going to be able to hit up when you do it. The confusing thing is that if you've ever put someone away in ping pong and you get the high ball and you give them the top spin forehand like that, you drive it down into the ground with that top spin. People who play the ball back in their stance to make it look like every other one, if they hit down on it, they pop it up like yours just did, and they try to stay back and give it the top spin forehand like in ping pong. And if you do that, it would be more successful than if you hit down on it and popped it up. What happens here is that if you give it the top spin forehand from here, you'll top it or miss it. As you get a little farther forward, you'll hit pulls, and it's not until you actually get properly ahead that it'll go high and stop pulling. But that's confusing because every other club, you get the hands ahead and it goes lower. For this, getting the hands ahead actually makes it go higher because you're not giving it the wrong one. So you're not changing your grip, you're using your normal grip, you're just twisting it to here. Okay, now when you go forward, that feel that you're going to twist that right foot off the ground and you're not going to slide that way is a big deal. But what I want this to be today is more of a troubleshooting session. That first one there that you hit was too high because you hit down on it. So that's what'll make the funny marks on the top of your club. Most people tee the ball down lower, but actually that makes you want to hit down on it even more. First thing we have to do is we have to have that hot, flat, tumbling trajectory. Okay, it's going to jump high, but then it'll come down slow this way. So we want one that jumps here and comes down like that. The ones you hit down on rise up and then they come down sharply like this. We want to be able to be in a spot where we stay back and do that, and then we're going to get a shallower angle of approach and we're going to not pop it up. That doesn't look funny from where you are. If this seems wide to you, you can have both feet narrower, but the middle of your feet has to stay the same. Does that seem too wide, or are you okay with that?
That's fine.
Hold that out in front. This is very diagnostic. Okay, when I go like this, if I'm not hitting that pad, you are going to slice. So you have to have that pad on top a little more. Put your right hand up here, and I'm going to help. Take this completely off. Thumb and forefinger together. Thumb on the right, fingers on the left. Keep that on. Now, as you hold that out in front of you, with the club face perfectly straight up and down, if we take the tee and we go straight up and down from there, we're hitting that pad. Put the right hand on over that. Try to get the 3 knuckles in a row, so get those 2 to get right in there. That's excellent. When it comes down here, it feels really closed, doesn't it? And so to do that feels really curved with your wrist, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now, is it your guess that you're going to hit it way left because your grip feels so closed?
Yes.
Okay. Did the last one go way left?
No.
No, it went way right, didn't it? Okay, all right. So we're not worried about that one, but this is pretty neutral. So this is where it should be, and then it's got to be up like that. I want you to sweep one off and just hit the top of the tee, but no ball, please. Try to stay in balance. Very good. Go to a place where the club's touching you and you can stay still until the ball's coming down. See if you can do it. It's hard to do. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. Very good. Now we're going to be able to test, see what difference we make on this one. Much better.
Well, it didn't go all the way to the highway.
But see, what I want you to notice is the first one was hit down on it, so it kind of fluttered and went way too high. It was a descending blow. With the ball farther forward, that one jumped high and had the tumbling trajectory.
Yeah.
It should go twice the height of the back fence.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't think that into the wind, if you have one with too much backspin, even hitting it low will still, the wind will still get it. But if you hit one that's high launch and low spin, it'll cut into the air and go through the wind, even into the wind, even though it's high. Why did that one not hook? I thought you had your grip on so close it would hook for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so that one we had insufficient rotation. Okay, so you got to keep turning as you go through. I'm going to hit the side of this, and I'm going to come through that way. Now, when I do that, okay, I want you to notice 4 things that happen to me. Number 1, my right foot comes off the ground. Number 2, my thighs touch together. Number 3, my left leg straightens. And number 4, at the end, my weight's 99.1. If you get to the top of the swing and you do that first, you don't get any one of those 4. Very good, excellent, stay there, good. If your thighs touch together, it'll be easier. That was a little bit of a riser. You hit down on that just a tiny bit too much, so you still slid a little.
Yeah.
Say your thighs aren't quite together?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when you reach across here is that as the top part of you goes forward, the lower part goes back. An awful high percentage of most people who play are, quote, coming over the top.
Yeah.
Okay? If somebody asked you what that meant, what would be your reply? What does coming over the top mean?
To me, it's just like your shoulder going over.
Okay, so that's what most people say. Actually, coming over the top is going from low to high. So if you don't have steeper to flatter, if you don't have an upward component in your backswing, and you just say, I'm not going to get fancy, I'm going to make a good turn, you'll come back lower, you'll start down, and you'll be higher. As you turn through and open your shoulders, you'll hit down and pull the ball way to the left. Yeah, that's opening your shoulders into the shot. No, opening your shoulders into the shot is okay to do. Being low to high is bad to do. It makes you pull it to the left, and it makes you descend too sharply. At impact, your hips will be very open. Your shoulders will be much squarer, but they'll be 5 or 10 degrees open, just a little bit. But in relation to hips that are 45 degrees open, they feel pretty square. But I don't want you to be afraid to come around this way, because you need that continuing rotation all the time. But if you're coming down here and you're hitting down on it and coming across it, that's bad. If you get steeper to flatter and the club's down here, then as you turn through, you're going to do just fine when you do it. So we got to have a better feeling for that. We need to know what steeper to flatter feels like. Pretty close, but still too open. Got to get you at the end of the club there. Good. Perfect. Repeat after me. That is normal.
That is normal.
Okay. You've got to have enough straight back room here. Watch where the club is going. It's covering up that little camp sign over there. Now watch as you change directions, it's got to go that way. So that's what steeper to flatter is. It comes from there. Now once you do that, the club's going to be shallow and it's going to start to the right, but watch, that one's open and that one's square and that one's closed. You'll continue to turn. A person who does this has stopped turning, so the club stops closing, so you have to decide when and how much to close it, and that's a nightmare. So we got to get used to this little kind of teardrop loop. When you have that happen, now when you get to here, you can turn on the jets and go all the way around. Give me one where you take it back, you feel it dropping in, and then see if you can turn and hit that tee. What we want is we want to have an upward component so it has room to get behind.
Yep.
Only about 2%, I'm not kidding, only about 2% of all golfers on this planet do it properly. Everybody yanks it in and comes over the top. So watch it happen, take it back and bring it out here. Then when you change directions, watch it happen, look at it. Back down there. See if you can make it get a little shallower. Good. Now hit the tee, see if you can do it. Good. Now if you do this well, the ball will start to the right of the target. That's what we're looking for.
Oh,
congratulations. Very nice. Started to the right of the target. Excellent. Okay, now we're getting close. Next, power. When you're trying to create power, there are many power sources in the swing, but one of the ones you never want to give away is the ability to obtain and retain your wrist cock. So what should happen when you change directions is you should have something called lag. Lag means that the club is still going back with your arms, and while that's still going back, you start going the other way, and so you compress or sharpen this angle when that happens. So what you want to feel is that you're still going back here, you start going the other way, and you acquire it as you start down. So if you can feel this thing kind of bump your arm as you change directions, then you know you've got a good sling as you go through, and you're able to whip it fast to the spot you want to go to. Good. We're going to go to this one, and I'm going to have you do the same thing. Now whip it fast and see if you can hit the tee on this one. Good. Found a hole of the Masters. Tied to the lead.
Oh man, Rom, it's you and me.
Okay, that's all right, that's all right. One more time. A top is caused by staying back and hitting up. Very nice.
Oh man.
That's okay, that's okay. Good job. So here's what we've done so far. We positioned the ball far enough forward so you can hit up on it without trying to hit up. Just the ball position is doing it. Number two, you've gotten the steeper to flatter and the hands ahead enough so you can start the ball to the right of the target. That's also very good. If you do both those things, you'll start the ball to the right, it will go high enough, and you'll have lots of club head speed if you change directions with this lag. The thing that's missing in your case is you're not getting the club face back to square when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, now, here's the problem with that. When you look at a normal position here, okay, that's not where you're gonna be at impact. If I go forward like this at impact, that's the 160-degree angle we're talking about, but now the club face is real open, isn't it? If I put it back to square, that's a good spot. And if I put my hand on it comfortably there, I'm okay. But when I come back here, it feels and looks really close, and when you put it back to square, there's a lot more curve here than you expect. But if your club is too open, then instead of teaching yourself to get ahead, you'll teach yourself to stay back, and then you'll be off balance and bad things will happen. Now, I want you to watch. I'm going to take this first one, and I'm going to make a swing, and we're going to see if it hooks. And it didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I put the grip on the way I thought it should be, and it's at 12 o'clock. I'm going to leave my hand where it is. I'm going to put the club to 11 o'clock. When I put my grip back on, and I put it back to square, my left hand is more on top, and my right hand is more underneath. Now, I'm going to test again. Still no hook. So now, I'm going to put it to 10 o'clock. Was that one too closed?
Yes.
Looked like it. Holes don't count. See, what that means is, I stayed back to make that one hook. Had I gotten my hands properly ahead, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad a shot. Okay, so that's what happens when your grip is bad. You start putting your hands in the wrong position. Now, on this one, I'm going to try to get my hands more ahead to see if that helps. And it's just a little tiny bit of a draw when we do that. You have to find very quickly, you have to find that amount of closure so that you cannot possibly fail to hook it. See, as soon as the ball's hooking, then your attempt to get ahead and hit down on it with every other club except the driver is going to be very successful, and you're going to teach yourself to get better. But if you're always looking up at a slice, then you're going to be staying back and doing other things to kind of counteract that bad effect. See, if you're going to play and you can't keep the ball from curving that way, you don't belong on the golf course. You're gonna kill people, and you're gonna have a huge score, aren't you? The quality of your grip is the way that the two hands relate to one another. So if you have your hands ahead, you have a nice flat left wrist, and you're turning through, well, that's gonna close the club for you. If you go through and your wrist isn't quite as flat, well, you're going to need a more closed grip, aren't you? What happens is when you start being able to hook it, then you're going to improve your rotation because your hands are ahead, and you're going to teach yourself to do a better job. But we need to hook one within 3. I want you to set up to this. This is a very important kind of skill to have. Now, remember, okay, you get it on to your satisfaction. And when you look underneath, you just have to have 3 knuckles in a row for sure. Swing relatively hard. Good. Ooh. Hit the ground for me. Where is that ground? What have you done with it? One more. Good, good. Okay, now here we go. Okay, now that one started left. See more of the left hand, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good thing. Okay, now, are you going to hook this one for sure?
Hopefully.
Feels like it. Okay, now don't do anything else differently. See if you can hit the ground. Good, okay.
Oh.
Okay, that's all right. Relax, relax. One more time. Got to hit the ground. See, that's why we're doing this. See, if you don't hook it enough, you want to stay back to have more time. Steeper to flatter, turn through it. Steeper to flatter, turn through it. When you were hitting my hand, your body was coming all the way around. That's a good thing. Good. Okay. Let's see what we get. Congratulations. Now, here's an interesting question. How far in the air did that one curve?
Like from right to left?
Yes,
A lot? A little bit.
No, it started way left, but
Yeah.
only curved about 10 feet. So the curvature is a result of the club face vis-a-vis your grip. So that means your grip was fine. It started left because you still were steeper to flatter and didn't start it to the right. If you hit a shot that's pretty solid and you see it curving to the right in the air, then what you do is you spin it in your hand that's there, then you grab on, and when you do that, your left hand will be on top more, your right hand will be underneath more.
So with this one, real quick, this is already like pretty closed, right? When I'm bringing this back, I'm just
cock your wrist. Yeah, don't manipulate the club face. Your job is to make it go fast and hit the ground.
I know like some people are like they like bow the wrist when they're coming down.
Well, see, if you bow the wrist, then you can use a much more open feeling grip, can't you?
Yeah.
But the ability to bow the wrist comes from being ahead. But see, people who have bad grips that are really open, they never get ahead. They hit it way right, so they teach themselves to stay back. So what you do is you learn to get ahead first and realize, oh my God, if I'm that far ahead, I'm gonna have to have more of a bowed wrist. Oh, and I'm gonna have to have more of a closed grip as well. And then once you get really good at getting ahead and your wrist is starting to bow, you think, well, I'm so good at bowing it, I don't even need such a closed grip anymore.
Okay, so right now, this grip you're giving me is because of my tendency not to be able to bow as much?
Well, exactly. Well, see, you need to bow your wrist, and you need to be able to continue to rotate when you go through. But when you get ahead, the instinct should be to have the wrist get bowed. If you get ahead, that's good, but if your wrist isn't bowed, then you just need a little bit stronger grip to do it. So don't think of this as giving in to a bad position. Think of it as a learning tool that's going to allow you to play as you improve.
And hooking is going from
hooking
right
is curving left.
Yeah, curving left. Yeah.
Push is starting right, pull is starting left. So see, you hit a bunch of pushes today that sliced, so your path was good on those. But then when I asked you to hook it, you stayed back to try to hook it. You should have made the same swing, and the combination of your wrist and your grip should have done it. But because you didn't, you were teaching yourself to stay back. Now, when I put your grip on properly, that was really good, or more close at least. But then when you stayed back, when you hooked it, you started left. So if you see that, it's like, oh, well, I'm hooking it now. I could have been more ahead. And as soon as you feel like you're more ahead and you're starting it right, and then you're hooking it in, then you just go on tour. Okay. But that's a big, big thing to do. You got to see it hook, because you know that even though you're getting your hands ahead, it's still closed enough. So here's the one that's really neutral. Still can see quite a bit of the back of my left hand, right?
Yeah.
This is you. You're way over here. And we can see that when we start. So we got to have more of that. But when you put this right there, okay, so try that grip first. Okay, hit this one. It doesn't matter where it goes. Okay, bring it back down. Good contact. Bring it back down here. Good. Grab on again. Will you hook this one? I want a prediction, yes or no.
Yes.
Another swing. Keep your hands on afterwards. Look at that, Jerome. That's a golf shot there, buddy.
Yeah,
now,
this is just so weird.
No, it's not. No, what you've been doing is weird. This is normal. That's the best shot you've ever hit in my presence, right there. That was the best one. That one still started left because you've been teaching yourself to stay back, to have more time to hook it. But once you're hooking it, you could be more ahead, couldn't you? But we got to be able to hook it every time. If you get a little sloppy and you slice one, that's okay, but you got to hook the next one. I'm not kidding, the next one.
Okay, and then what's a good feel to getting it head? Like that's...
Well, see, you got to see it hooked to do it. See, that one there you hit was a perfect 10-foot hook, but it started 10 yards left of the target. So what do you know? At impact, you were back here. Now, it could be that if you get properly ahead, it's not going to be enough to hook it, and you might have to get it even more closed. But let's start with something that hooks at all, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're seeing slices, then you've got a bad grip. Sorry, end of discussion. You're also a wiggler. And you look up and you change it, and you look up and you change it, and pretty soon you're back to where it feels more comfortable. So it's going to feel ungodly close, and you're going to think, oh, I've got a horrible grip that's designed for a bad player. No, you're matching the grip to what your body's able to do. When you see slices, you tend to stay back to have more time, and then you're getting worse instead of better. Wow, very good. So now, did that one hook?
No.
No, bring it back down. Wow, there may be hope for you, Jerome.
Oh my!
It's just possible.
It's just so weird. This is like the weirdest thing I've ever...
Well, see, that's why it takes everyone 20 years to get good. So you have to be enough of a scientist to get out of your way and just be an objective observer. When you see a hook where you stay back and it hooks excessively, and then you get more ahead and it hooks marginally, oh, maybe I'm onto something. So that's the feeling you want to have. How many balls do you get to see fade in a row?
3.
If you see two, you got to hook the third one. Okay, so you do your best try at what you think is a grip you can use today on the first one. If that one doesn't hook, you take it from 12 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Typically, you'll pull it a little if you do it. Then you'll try to get ahead on the next one. And if it starts right, see if that one hooks. Then 10 o'clock. I don't care if you have to turn it upside down, okay? You're gonna get to the point where you're gonna have your grip on in a way where no matter how far ahead you get, you're going to be able to see it curve to the left in the air. The moment you do that, A, you're an advanced player. B, you can be steeper to flatter, get your hands ahead. C, the ball's gonna go really far and really long and compress well, but you're gonna teach yourself to make your swing better. No choking down. Remember, I got to hit the end of the club and the end of the hand at the same time, so go down to there. Okay, now your job is to make sure you have 3 knuckles in a row underneath. So check, take a look after you're done. So keep the thumb and forefinger together and look underneath and make sure that one and those two are in a perfect row. Good, grab on again.
Yeah.
Good, now put it back. Oh, crap. Okay, feels terrible, doesn't it?
Horrible.
Sorry. Life is hard, and then you die. Here we go. Good, hold it there. Good. Now give it a test. Let's see what happened.
Oh.
Now look at it, look at it. Is that hooking in the air?
No.
It didn't. Why not?
Um,
Get this one right. Your grip's not closed enough. Bad news? No, it's good news.
you just keep turning
If
it.
you can fix it, then you fix it.
Yeah.
Now, see, you pulled that because you sensed you were still going to slice it. So what you do is slide this right hand down the club, then spin it in your left hand a little more, then slide it back down. Okay, okay. Now at some point you're gonna hook it, aren't you? Yes, you are.
I'm
Okay, now
hoping.
start from there. Good. Now take a practice swing that hits the tee. Just let it go fast. Don't change anything in your swing. No ground contact. Whip it fast, stay in balance. Here we go. Good, attaboy. How sure are you you're gonna hook this one? I said, are you really sure? Because you're wiggling, you're already trying to change it, okay? Keep it there. Are you really sure?
I'm not that sure.
Okay, all right. So be a scientist, give it a test, see what happens. Here we go. Now,
No.
was that grip too close, Jerome?
It felt very close.
I didn't ask that, okay?
I
What
guess
does the ball do?
It went to the right.
Okay, so it curved a little to the right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you again, was that grip too closed?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now, see, you might say, well, I need to learn to turn it over more. No, you don't. You need to make it go fast. You need to have your hands ahead. If you don't have a combination of a wrist that's doing the right thing because you haven't been ahead enough, you're not going to learn how to get the supination to happen.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to get the hands ahead because you see it hooking, and we can make it hook on this next one if you get the grip more closed. Okay, so when you come through, don't try to prevent anything from happening. It feels like it's going to be too close. That's fine. Now, if you pull hook it, that could be a good thing. That means that the club was close enough, but that because you've seen slices, you're afraid and you're staying back here. See, we want to have it be close enough so when you get ahead and you're up there, see, that doesn't feel so close, does it?
No.
It still hooks when you do that. Now, your prediction. Will this one hook? Okay. Here we go. That's it. Stay there. Okay, take a look.
Ah.
Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so partner, it's much easier to do with an iron.
Yeah.
So if you had an 8-iron in your hand and you got this, and you got on a little run where you're hooking almost everything,
Yeah.
because your grip felt pretty closed, and then when you pulled one, you got a little farther ahead and it didn't start so far left,
Yep.
you'd be onto something, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But because it's easier to get your hands ahead when you're hitting an iron because you're hitting down, then you're going to have a much better chance of making solid contact and doing that.
Yeah.
But your job is to start revamping your grip so that it's close enough so that no matter what club you have, it still wants to hook when you do it. The easy way to understand it is that when you're slapping the fence, when you're going around here, the club is continuing to close. If you go forward and you slide this way and you stop turning, then you'd have to do it manually a lot.
Okay.
So if you find a nice comfortable chair in the house and you can slap the chair and you go around this way, that's good. You're doing a little too much of that instead when you do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Last thing, okay, how fast should you swing?
I think I should stop swimming 100%. Maybe like
Okay, all right.
70.
So here's something you hear all the time. You know, I'm getting a little quick. I'm going to slow it down a little. Okay, that's a bad player thing to do. Okay, now I don't want you to be out of control.
Yeah.
But let's think of it this way: if you had a weight on the end of a string, you got it going fast to stay in a good orbit. If you slowed it down, it would wobble. How about this? Will you agree that a touring pro who can fly the ball over 300 yards must have a good swing? Must be. You can't hit it that far, you know, and make that kind of contact without having a good swing, right? Okay, so listen, this is important. You can't do it that fast incorrectly. The fact that it's that fast means it's right.
Yeah.
You can do it slow incorrectly.
Yeah.
So anything you can do that fast and make, you know, the good contact with it has to be correct.
Yep.
So really, a lot of other irons, people will go slow, trying to analyze their motion, that's fine. But when you get to this club, you want to go at it, well, maybe not 100, but really over 90% all the time, just to test to make sure that your stuff is valid. If you can do it at 60% and you can keep it in play, and you go up to 90 and it's off the golf course, you're working on the wrong thing. So you want to very quickly turn up the volume and see when you're going fast if you can still stay with the control. If you go back to the 8-iron and you're good and you do it with the driver, you're doing something wrong, okay? But it's not the speed that did it. Slower is not better.
Okay. Yep.
So you could not have hit that 8-iron as perfectly as you did a few minutes ago without being in a good position. But if you don't do the same thing with that, you're not quite feeling it. But what's the one thing you want to use as the criterion for success? You got to see it hook.
Okay.
If you're seeing it hook, that's fine. If it's not hooking, what's the first thing you do? Get it more closed. If it doesn't hook, get it more closed. Keep going until it's closed. Then if you pull it when you hook it, learn to get ahead. If you learn to get ahead, you're steeper to flatter and starting right and hooking in, then you're ready to go back to the driver.
Cool.
Got
Awesome.
it?
Yep, got it. Thanks, Mike.
Good job. Well done today.
Oh my God, that is a wrap for this episode and this lesson. Hopefully it's been useful to you. All these videos, man, take so much time to make so we can make the most unique and the highest quality content on YouTube. So drop that like, not for me, but for everyone. This is a channel for the people. And lastly, it looks like hopefully I'm getting better. Every day is a grind. And like Mike said, it's the best shot that he's ever seen on this channel. So, you know, hopefully you guys are seeing the progress. I'm feeling like I'm getting better, but you know, there will be days where it's like I'm stepping back a lot. And if you're new to this channel and want to continue following this journey, subscribe and watch this video right over here to see what I did yesterday. See you guys there.